Right, good morning guys. I must apologise if this video appears a little bit rushed this morning, but that is because it is a little bit rushed because I wasn't planning to do this video until this afternoon. But because I'm ahead of myself this week, I've done a lot of work, but I have got in front, I'm going to start this video now, and I have something rather special here, and it is, it's a Fender precision bass, active electronics, big fat humbucker on there, and a split single coil, absolutely beautiful thing. Headstock, you have to view this upside down, there's no way I can get this right way around and not smash the window in front of me. So there you go, made in the USA, no rubbish here, and no beating about the bush. This has come in for a refret, a lot of weight on the frets down this bottom end. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Maybe we could have got away with a level. It's not too bad up this end, but I think the owner just says nice as well. Have a refret, get a refret on there. So what I am to do is just about to order the fret wire, because the quicker I order it, the quicker it will come. The quicker it comes, the quicker I can do it. I would like to get the fret wire here by Saturday. And today is Thursday morning, so this is why I'm doing this video right now. Now I've measured the width of the fret wire, just 2.6 millimeters wide. So I'm going to go with I'm going to replace it with a Syntons 18% nickel silver, 2.8 wide by 1.4 high. This has got a millimeter left on it in height. I want to go 1.4 high because, oh, that's a bit low there, because it gives us a redress somewhere down the line. If I could get something maybe at 1.2, 1.3, maybe it will be even better. Now I do have some fret wire here, Osco 18% nickel silver, 2.6 by 1.2, but there's not enough of it. So no point using that. So I'm going to actually go a little bit bigger. Where is my caliper? I do have a caliper knocking about somewhere. There we go. Blah blah. And I'm just going to measure a couple of frets. Give me an idea of the width. That's saying 2.57, 2.58, 2.54. I think we could safely say it's at least 2.5, around about 2.6. I'd have thought going 2.8 or could go 2.6. It depends how these frets come out, because I don't know if we've gone in from the top or we've gone in sideways. If we've gone in sideways, there's going to be an extra charge, because it's going to take me longer to get them out, longer to do the work. I know on vintage instruments, the older Fender ones, they put the frets in sideways. I'm just loosening the strings. Just so I can see the frets better. It says there's a set of strings in the case. Put a new set of strings on. These strings look alright to me, but so let's put the new ones on. We'll put the new ones on. Just loosening these strings just so I can get them out of the way. Yeah, I can see why I want to refret. There's a lot of wear on these. Might as well get it refretted. Sorry if this is boring for you guys. Like I say, it's an early one. An unplanned video. I just want to get this on. Get something on camera now, and I can send this to the owner. Yeah, we're going for a refret. There's a lot of wear down there on these middle ones. Right, I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to turn the camera and I'm going to pull a fret. In fact, I ain't going to do that. I'm going to pull a fret off camera, and then I'll come back and let you know how it came out. If it comes out relatively easily, it comes out from the top and there's no chipping, then I can get them all out from the top. If it causes me a lot of chipping, I know they've got it sideways, and it's going to be a bit more of a nightmare to get them out. The nut, I'm going to have to replace the nut by the looks of that. Blah 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 blah, because the slots are really quite low in there. We're going with a higher fret, a 1.4 millimeter high, so I'm going to get a new nut anyway. So I'm going to go and source a new nut as well. That will be on top. I know the fret wire is already going to cost £18. We're going for a Syntons 18% nickel silver, a jumbo size, 2.8 millimeters fret width by 1.4 millimeters high. As explained, I'm going with the extra height to give us a fret level somewhere down the line, 10-15 years down the line. You can get another fret level out of it, and basically it's going to double the life of your fret wire. There's no reason why you wouldn't get 30 years out of some high fret wire, 80% nickel silver fret wire on this, even if you're a heavy player. So I will pull a fret and I'll come back and let you know how we got on. So as I thought, now these frets haven't gone in sideways, we have got it from the top, but I am getting quite a lot of chip out, and these areas have to be repaired before I can put new frets in. So there will be an extra labour charge with this. I shall go and let the owner know. Not too much, I'll stick another hour on top, I think. Fixing the chip out will take me a couple of hours, maybe even 3 hours more, so you know, you're not exactly getting a bad deal there. But what I have to do with that is I have to cut those slots again, recut the slots. I'll get some silicone strips in there, and what I'll do is where we have some chip out, I'll fill in with some rose dust and some super glue. Once that's all done, I'll obviously have to sand the whole fingerboard to get it all smooth again. We'll be moving no more than 1/10 of a millimetre off the top of the rosewood, which will not be a problem, but it will give us a nice smooth finish. Any height we lose anyway, we're not going to lose any great height, 0.1 millimetres is nothing, but any height we lose anyway, we're going to more than make up for with the height of the new fret wire. I'm going to go and order the new fret wire. I'm going to source a new nut. I would imagine the fret wire is 18 quid, maybe a nut's going to cost another 10 quid on top. You know, it's it could be worse. So I will go talk to the owner, and once he has commissioned and okayed the work, which I'm absolutely sure he will do, I will come back and give an update, and we can crack on getting this bass refretted. So all the work has been okayed by the owner of this bass, this Deluxe Precision bass. I have started stripping parts. I removed the tuners. They have gone in the pot. They always go in the pot, and what I like to do is just something you don't have to do it. I like to mark each tuner up individually and put it back in exactly the same place it came out of. So that will go in the same place. That's the E, the G, the A, and the D. There you go. Blah 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 blah. Obviously, you can now see I've also removed the neck. Some interesting information. There's always interesting information when you remove parts, and you get, I don't know if it's a place name or whatever. It looks like something like Murillo or something. I don't know. M-U-R-I-L-L-O. Have a glimpse here if you want to. And then you've got, always get an initial or some sets of initials and a date. And the date is October 08, 1998. And there is a name on there, A-C-O-R-O-Y, Karoy. I don't know, it could be, don't know, whatever. What do you make of it? You have a look, but you clearly have a date there, October the 8th, 1998. I'm going to move on now to the body. The body's going back in the case. A few sets of initials on this one. There's a date, October, looks like October 15, 1998. There's another date stamp, October 23rd, 1998, or October 13, 1998. Lots of sets of initials in there. There's definitely an AL, a JR. There's a number 3 in there. There's some glue in there. You never tidy these pockets, are they? Makes you wonder how to get the next set right. But there you go. You can have a look in there. Clearly got 1998 stamped in there twice. So we know it's a 1998 bass. It's a 20-year-old bass. I'm going to put the body back into the case. We're going to leave it there. I'm going to remove the frets. I'm going to hold it upside down. Getting a lot of chip out. I've expressed to the owner I'm going to charge £25 extra for repairing the chip out. Whether that takes me 1 hour, which is my rate, 25 quid an hour on an ongoing job, or it takes me 3 or 4 hours. I'll just charge him 25 quid extra for that. So he's all happy with that. The nut, I would think I will have to remove that nut. So I'm going to measure the width just there. In fact, I'll measure it right now. I'll get the caliper out, measure that right now, and I can go and order a new bone nut because I'm taking that one out regardless. Even if I ended up pouring it back in, I think it's going to be too low. So I will go and buy a new one anyway. Bit of good news for the owner. I went and had a shop around for the fret wire. I was going to buy it from eBay, from Tone Tech, where I buy a lot of stuff from in England. Is it Tone Tech? Luthier Tech Supplies, whatever. I'll tell you in a minute. Tone Tech, Luthier Supplies. There you go. On eBay, this is £13.86 for a fret wire and £2.10 postage. That's, what's that? £15.96, 16 quid, yeah? Buy it direct from a company. I'm an account holder there. £13.10 delivered. It is blah 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 blah. Syntoms 18% nickel silver fret wire, 2.8mm. Well, it's 2.8mm wide, 1.4mm high. Nice crown height on there. £13.10. Save 3 quid there. Go buy a nut. Maybe a nut's going to cost another 7 quid. That's 20 quid on a nut and fret wire. So it's going to come in sub 200 quid for a complete refret. Not too bad, is it? This is a fret wire. I've already looked at it. I've measured it. Got a piece out. I've measured it. It is 2.8 wide with 1.4 height on the tang, and 1.4mm height on the crown. The tang, don't have a length, but width is 0.5mm, so that is going to sit in there nicely. I'm going to radius it just a little bit tighter radius than I would do, so I'll radius it to about 8.5 inch radius, and we'll press it in on a 9.5. It just should hold in really, really nicely. So the fret wire can go back over there. I did say I was going to measure the width of nut, which I'm doing right now. Good thing about buying nuts for guitars, you can get a measurement in millimetres, because not everyone measures to American standard. The nut width, that is, that's a 41.99. So I'm going to go with a 42mm nut, if there is such a thing. I could go a little bit less because that nut does slightly protrude from the edge. Let me give a measure on the neck itself. That's saying 41.6, 41.7, 41.8. So as close to 42mm as we can get. I'm not going to smash the nut out. I'm going to cut the nut right down the centre. And what we're going to do is we're going to break it from the outside, crush it in on itself, and it should just fall out. If I can move that, I'll get it in the vise later. If I can just tap that out, I haven't got to take it out now. If I think tapping it is going to cause any damage or bring a chunk of wood out on this side, then I'm probably best advised just to saw right down the centre of a nut itself. In fact, that is a fail-safe way to get it out. It is going to come out clean. I'm going to saw it down the centre. I've got a very good blade to do that, so that's what I'm going to do. Right, what I'm going to do now is going to put the body away. I'm going to get an adapted soldering iron out. I'm going to heat these frets and I'm going to remove them. And I'm going to pray that I get as little chip out as possible. But any chip out we do get, I will repair it. I've got a big bag of red alder down there, stained alder. I've got a big bag of rosewood dust as well. Either will work, because once you add super glue to it, it turns dark anyway, so either will work. I have strips of silicone I'm going to put in the slots, which I have a full sheet of silicone knocking about, a brand new sheet. Good thing about silicone is nothing sticks to it, so the glue will not stick to it. So when I've got bigger bits, I've got a full sheet of it, but that's what we stick in the slots, or longer strips than that. I don't know where it is. I've got some knocking about in this drawer somewhere, or in these drawers somewhere. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Here's a piece, and I'll cut that to radius, and what we'll do is we'll fill the slots with this gubbins. We'll just fill the slots with that, and when we fill and glue, all the gunk is not going to drop inside the fret slot, is it? And that way, when we pull this out, we still have a fret slot intact. They're going to be resawn anyway, the fret slots. But I'll show you that process a little bit closer to the time of me getting to the completion of that part of the job. I'm not going to show me filling the cracks or the chipped areas. I've done it many times before on earlier videos. I think you get the gist. I might just come back and show the last one, just to give you an idea of how we do it and how we make it look invisible, because it's quite astonishing how once you do this and you fill it, you'll never know whether it's been filled or repaired. It's a very, very good technique. Good morning, friends. Now this morning I'm going to remove the nut from this precision base, and there are a couple of things we have to do to make sure we don't damage anything when we're removing a nut, because sometimes if you remove a nut and you whack it from one end, you can chip. In fact, I'm going to zoom in and show you. I've done it before on a nut where I've knocked a nut out from one and it took a big chunk of this back edge of a fingerboard out with it, and then not only do you have to replace it, you have to refinish it, and it costs quite a lot of money for me to get refinishing done because it's not something I can do myself because I don't have the facilities and I don't have the skills yet. So to make sure we move a nut, we get a nut removed properly without damaging anything, what I tend to do is I saw through the nut halfway and saw it all the way down or as close as I can get to the fingerboard without cutting it into the fingerboard material. And what I will normally do is I will take a razor saw, like such a very, very sharp saw, and I will start to cut into the nuts, make a groove. Once I've made a groove, I'll start cutting in and down. When I've used a razor saw, this one I've used a small blade. I could use a slightly larger blade, but a smaller blade's easier to control. Once that's done, I will go in with my guitar saw. It's a Pax guitar saw, Sheffield steel. I've had it a good few years now. It cost about, I think it cost about 30 quid. It's got a great curve on there, it's got a great cut, but it's got quite a lot of teeth. And it will cut probably 0.6mm wide slots. So once I've been in a razor file, I'll do that. Prior to removing the nut, also I'll need to get into this edge with I normally go in with a Stanley blade, just to remove where any lacquer is joined to the nut, and we'll just score across the top, being very careful not to cut into the wood. We can cut into the nut, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to collapse this nut in on itself with a pair of pliers. I haven't done this many times, but when I've done it, it's been quite successful. Now, I'm not saying this might be what I might need to do, is I might need to remove some material from the top first, but hopefully this will break up, and it's not breaking up. So what I'm going to do is, maybe I could get a small blade inside. Or maybe I could knock it out. I don't want to be damaging anything. I don't want to be banging into anything. Maybe I could put a screwdriver in there, then I could crack it in on itself. And there you go. That has come out in one actual piece. That's fantastic. Now, when I tried to knock this out sideways, it wouldn't have it. That's maybe because I didn't cut this glue edge here. But that's come out so easily. I actually didn't need to saw that in half, did I? But we have done. And what that means we can now do is I will go and take a small square needle file. Which do I have any? Of course I have some. Bought these many years ago. I always buy, if I can, buy Hilker tools. Because Hilker tools are normally very well made, but they're cheaper than something like a Mac tool or a Snap-on. But these are normally, the tools are guaranteed for life. Well, normally are. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to take a 3mm square file. I'm just going to clean up the slot ever so gently. Don't need to go mental. Now, that was probably the easiest nut that's ever removed by cutting it off. I've probably done 4 or 5 or 6 over the years, but that came out so easily. And that was all because I scored down here, down the edge with the Stanley blade. And all I'm going to go and do now, well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and order a new precision base nut. I've already been online, check the prices, about 10 quid delivered. It will be a bone nut, it will have a radius curve, 9.5 inch radius curve on there. What I also like to do is when I've cleaned this slot out, which I have done, just on the top where we might have scored a little bit, I just like to run just a tiny slither of oil. Any will do. I tend to use mineral oil, which is used for cleaning and nourishing the fingerboard, just to remove anything or anywhere we've removed a bit of shine. We'll get that shine back in there. That is now done and ready for a new nut. Now what I'll do is I'll get my caliper, and I know it's 42mm wide, I've already measured it, but just to show you guys, because I actually measured the width of the nut, not the width of the actual neck, because the nut was just a little bit wider. So I'll take a digital caliper, and I'm just going to measure the actual width of the nut slot, and that is giving me 41.82. Don't know if you can see that, take my word for it, 41.82mm. So yeah, 42mm nut. I'm going to go and order one now. 41.73 there, so about 41.8 or 41.75. Fantastic. So I'm going to order a 42mm nut. The reason I'm buying a new nut is I'm going with a high fret wire. And the old nut, the height, the string height might have been, these slots or the string slots could well have been too low for the new higher fret. Because these frets are only about 1 millimetre, we're going to go 0.4 of a millimetre higher. So chances are we're going to need slightly higher nut slots. So may as well repair it or replace it anyway. So this job has already been priced up. There will be an extra £24 on top, which is £10 for the nut. Well, not 23 quid. £10 for the nut, 13 quid for the fret wire, which we've already established, just over 13 quid. So we're looking at extra £23 on top of the price of the job. The owner has already agreed to my rates, which is fantastic. So now today, now I remove that nut, what I can do is I can now move over to the other bench, we'll get some heat in these frets and we'll remove these frets. Once the frets are removed, I'm going to repair any chip out we have. And there's an area just here also. We don't just have chip out across the leg, we have a chip out right on the edge. A bit more difficult to fill, a bit more difficult to fix, but I can fix it, I will fix it. And if the chipped areas, if it takes me 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, I will get it done today. I'm only charging 1 hour extra labour for that, which is normally what I do if it's going to take me a bit longer, even though if the job could take me 2, 3, maybe even in some cases 4 hours. But today is all about prep. I'm going to just get the neck right, I'm going to get prepared. Once it's all prepped, or once all the slots are fixed, I'm going to go across with a radius block and some sandpaper, some 240 grit, some 400 grit, just to re-radius the whole board and smooth it all off, get it ready for the new frets. Something else I want to show before I move on is, you can see I've only removed 2 frets, I've got more frets to remove yet, but what I'll do is I'm going to need to be recutting these slots, fret slots, and I don't want to go too deep, but I do have the perfect tool for this job, and it is a fret slotting saw. And it has a special blade made by Barco, BAHCO, and these blades are slightly thinner than a regular hacksaw blade. These are exactly, they cut an exact 0.5 millimetre, which is 0.5 millimetre slot. And it has a depth gauge, which will mean we're not going to go too deep, so we're not going to cut into the maple underneath. And it's a really simple tool, but very, very effective, and it's just so simple, just to clear out, clean and recut a fret slot, like so. And I'm a bit awkward at the angle because I've got camera in my way, but that is as much work as it takes. And that slot is clean, and hopefully you will see, if I can just zoom in just a little, you'll see the gap right at the end of the slot here. And I'm just going to very, very gently just zoom in. And there you go, you see that nut slot is beautiful. I've done the camera at a specific angle so you can see the cut there, and that cut is all the way through. And what you're not seeing at the moment is the chips. And we have 1 or 2 chips in there. Now I've already explained I will cut strips radius to this slot radius or the neck radius, and all we do is when we fill these, we just place that in there, and then we can fill either side with some wood dust and a little bit of super glue. And the super glue is not going to go into the fret slot. And when it's all dried, we just remove the silicone, and it leaves us a real clean slot. We'll recut it again anyway, but it's just while we do that. And I'll cut this into strips, into 9.5 mil radius, and I can do 2 or 3 at a time. It's going to be pretty time consuming this. I'm going to actually spend all day on this neck, just basically filling the chipped areas and refilling and sanding my fingerboard, and we'll get it all smooth again. We'll re-radius the whole board, and that's all I really want to do today on this neck. I'm not going to rush anything, I'm going to take my time. I don't have a lot in at the moment, which is absolutely fantastic because it means I can finally work on my own guitars. I have a new guitar coming in Wednesday, one of my own, a Korea-made Epiphone SG, and I want to do a bit of work on that as well. And I have various guitars of my own I would like to work on. A couple of my own guitars need fret levels, so absolutely buzzing this week. This is the only real job I've got in right now, and that is fantastic news for me and my guitars. So anyway, I'm going to crack on. I'm going to move over to the other bench. I'm going to start removing all of these frets. I'm going to get some heat in there. We're going to pull all the frets, and we're going to pray that we don't get too much chipping. I'll be using my chip stopping tool, which is Sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't. It depends how brittle and old the wood is. I would say this is 20-year-old wood. I'd say it's quite brittle. So I'm probably going to get a bit more chip out than I want. But you know, let's do what we can to minimise that. Let's get a little prayer in there, and we'll thank the Lord for every day and blah blah blah. And we hope that it all goes well. So I thought while I'm at it, I'll show you a little bit of fret removal, and this is how I remove frets. First and foremost, I'm going to make sure I need a good fret puller, which is a pair of flat pliers with a ground flat edge, which means I can get right in at the edge of the fret and get underneath it. But I don't just want to pull the fret out as it is, because it will chip like a mofo. Now I do have Stumac tools, which are called a chip stopper. I'll get them right round. What we attempt to do with those is we lift a fret at one corner, we get these underneath, and as we pull a fret, if this is a fret, my finger, as we get it inside, we slide it across as we're pulling the fret, and it should stop some of the chip out. It does work pretty well, but it doesn't stop all of them, but it gets most of them. And I have two thicknesses. I have a 0.01 or 0.01 and a 0.02. This one's a little bit thicker. This one doesn't work so well. Now, to remove the frets, I do have an old soldering iron I bought from Maplins a few years ago. And it was mental. It's supposed to be a 40-watt soldering iron. You can almost weld with this, it gets that hot. So I thought it's no good for that, but it is great for heating up frets. And what I did is I took a bit, soldered a bit, a tip, and I bent it, and I filed a groove into it. And this groove fits perfectly over the frets. So this is how I remove frets. What I do is I heat up, and I'm looking to melt the glue. And it'll hiss and it'll steam a little. Maybe I could zoom in just a little bit. Gives you more of an idea. Then we can see a bubbling there. Just get some heat in there just to soften everything up. If there's any glue in there, it will soften all the glue. And that's it. And we have a nice little bit of steam coming off there. So that is hot enough under there. We'll stick that back in, and we're not messing about. We'll get straight in at the edge. Nice and steady. We don't want to put any dints in the finger. Right, there you go. We've got that edge up. I'm going to go with the fatter. Sorry if my arm's in the way. Just the nature of it. And there you go. I've got that in there. And I'm going to lift the fret and push this in. And hopefully we'll stop some of the chip out. And we'll probably won't get it all. I still think the thinner one works best. And there you go. And that's hardly worked at all. There's a load of chip out there. If I can just bring that in. If it's not a load, I mean, it's not going to take me uber long to fill it. And there's one big chip there. It's not foolproof. I don't like using this thick one, it doesn't work as well. So I'm going to use a thin one on the next one, see if it makes any difference. Clean this up best we can. Get in there, get some heat in there. This will be the 8th one. There's quite a lot of chip out. I'm going to, it's, you know, end of the day, I'm going to spend all day on this. It's just gone 10 in the morning. If this takes me all day, it's not going to take me all day, it'll take me a few hours. But then I'm going to work on some of my own guitars this afternoon, which really pleasing. I'll probably even get to work on my Edwards Explorer, which I've just had refinished. That'd be fantastic if we can get that one done today, get a knot on there. Because it's it's an absolute one-off guitar now, it's been refinished. And I bought it brand new in 2015, cost me £1,000. It's cost me 300 quid for a refin. So, well, that guitar, it actually stands me out, with the case, it stands me at just over £1,200 when all said and done. For a guitar, it was originally bought for £600 and you got the import charge and everything on top. But I really want to get that one done because it's going to be fantastic. So if I could work on that today a little, that'd be brilliant. There you go, we're under there. Sometimes it helps when you get a good bit of heat in there. You don't get so much chip out. So anyway, let's see where we are. So you see how this chip stopper works. And that's probably the best one that's pulled. There's one tiny chip right there because that's so little. I'm just going to fit that one straight back in. Hopefully you can see there is one tiny chip just here. Move it out of the way. Put a drop of super glue in there. Barely get too much super glue, normally do. There you go, it's fine. We're just going to roll that over, back in its place. Hopefully it will go in. And that will file out really easily. So that's in. Take a smooth file, smooth-ish. Just nice and gentle, with the grain. I like to go with the grain, you're not going to oik anything out again then. And there you go, that is now filled in. Not worried about slots yet, I'm going to cut the slots later. I'll cut new slots in there. But there you go, that's that chip filled. That is really good, that's the best one I've done so far. Do one more. The less chip art I get, the easier it is going to be to refinish this fingerboard. But what I'm planning to do anyway is I've got a 9.5 inch radius block, about 16 inches in length, aluminium, and I'll fix some sandpaper to radius block and I'll re-radius the whole board. I'll be removing no more than 1/10 of a millimetre of height, which is nothing, and it will re-radius the whole board. And a lot of these smaller chips, you won't even see them after that, they won't even need filling. I will finish it off with 400 grit sandpaper, so it'll look absolutely brilliant. And I will lightly oil, mineral oil, the whole fingerboard before I put the new frets in, just to get it all smooth and get a little bit softer on the edges, just so the new frets go in easier. Well, that one came out easy, crikey, I've not even used a chip stopper on that. Okay, there's a little chip there, I'm not worried about, I'll fill that one. But that again is not too bad. So these are doing okay. I've seen worse. There are, I would say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10, 11, 12, 13, about 14 chips areas to fix on 8 frets. It's not too bad. We might get a little bit more down the body end of the guitar. You normally get a few more down there, but we'll see. It's not an exact science. I'm going to do this last one, then I'm going to turn the neck round so I'm nearer to the solder iron. Very therapeutic, my job. It's good fun. You know, I'm a really, really fortunate guy. I can actually do something I love doing. Yeah, and live off that to some extent. Not a great load of steam coming off there. Maybe we've got a little bit less glue at this end, if any at all. Again, came up really, really easily. Right, your ball stud, don't move that hand on that. And again, beautiful. No major chip out on that one. So that's it. That's how I remove frets. A little bit of something trying to chip, but once we sand this down, it's going to be fantastic. There's not a lot of chip out on these last two at all. That is really, really encouraging. So I'm going to turn the neck around this way, and there you go. It's going to be a lot easier for me to work now, because I can leave the guitar exactly where it is, or leave the neck where it is. So I'm going to remove these. I will come back and show you how we go about. I'm not going to show you filling a chip. Really easy. All we do is drop a little bit of wood dust in there. Rosewood dust, I've got a bag full of it. Really fine rosewood dust. I've got some fine alder dust as well. And whatever you put in there, once you put super glue on it, it darkens anyway, so it doesn't matter which you use. But I'll be filling all of these small chipped out areas, and then I'll be re-radiusing the whole board, and we'll get it all nice and smooth, ready for refret. And then we'll finally, the last thing we're going to do before we put new frets in is we are going to cut the new fret slots for the new fret wire. Right then, the frets are out, and that wasn't too painful. They've come out quite well. A bit of chipping here and there, but that is absolutely normal. If you can get frets out without getting any chipping anywhere, then you must be a magician. That is really not bad at all. I would say got a couple of dozen at tops. At the most, I'll probably say round about 20 small chipped areas I need to fix. That really isn't bad at all. 1, 2, 3 standout ones, 3, hardly any at this end at all. 4, 5, hardly any at this end. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10, 11, 12, 13, maybe 14, probably 14 chips I need to fill and fix. Really, that is not a problem at all. What I've decided to do is I'm going to cut all these fret slots, not too deep, but I'm going to cut the fret slots. Once they are done, I'm going to level and re-radius the whole fingerboard. I'm going to remove hardly any material at all. I would be thinking probably max will be removing a 20th of a millimetre. I don't even know what that is in millimetres. In inches or of an inch, I've got no idea. So very, very, very small amount. So I'm going to do that. We've got a little bit of, it's a little bit rough now on the top, so we do need to smooth all this off anyway. I will dig out a 9.5 inch radius leveling beam. If I can, I'll just drag one out now, we'll have a look. See where we are, 10 inch, 16, 7.25, 9.5, there you go. 9.5 leveling beam. This will be the one with no sandpaper on it, wouldn't it? I'm going to stick some 240 on there. I will clean up this edge. We will get some double-sided sticky tape on there. Then some masking tape. We'll get some, no, tell a lie. We'll get some masking tape on there first. We'll get it all nice and level, nothing overlapping. Then some double-sided sticky tape. Peel off the backing off the sticky tape and get some sandpaper on there. The reason I put masking tape on there first is it is a lot easier to peel masking tape off this surface than it is to peel off double-sided sticky tape. It comes off really, really quite easily. And once that's done, we have a leveling beam where we are going to re-radius the whole fingerboard. Won't take too long, we'll just smooth it all off, get a nice even radius over there, and then we can come back, we can clean up the fingerboard, and I'll recut all of these slots using the fret slotting saw I showed earlier, and then we can move on to getting the new frets in. So, back.